The World Series is set. Dodgers versus Blue Jays. We are here to cover it all. Welcome to Dean's LA Sports Report. I'm here with a couple other Dodgers creators, Ian and Ethan. Make sure to go follow them. I'll be putting their description down below. We're ready to talk some Dodgers blue. It's time to go back to back. Boys, how are we feeling going into Friday, game one?
Feel good. With this pitching rotation, I don't know how you can't feel confident, especially Otani coming off that legacy game. I mean, is that the greatest game we've ever seen out of an athlete?
Definitely, most definitely.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I feel good. I think the toughest test they faced was, in the divisional round against Philadelphia. I thought that going into the postseason that was kind of the World Series. It just came a lot earlier than usual. I think Toronto's much better than the Brewers, but regardless, I think the Dodgers still are the favorites in Vegas, the whopping favorites for a reason. Not sure if they wrap it up in LA, but I think there's a very good shot they would.
Most definitely. I don't know if I feel like I speak for most Dodger fans, but I feel like the confidence is just on top of the roof right now. I mean, sweeping the Brewers, like probably having the most dominant, like 4 starting pitching appearances we've ever seen put together in a rotation, which we obviously got to talk about that too. I think we probably have the best starting rotation we've ever seen in a postseason, series. But the confidence is out the roof right now, and I think the Dodgers are just so good that we even have everyone saying that we ruined baseball, which is a whole nother story. But if there's people saying that controversial, that means that we're doing something well. And obviously, like Kobe said, job is not finished. To me, it feels like it is finished. And I really hope that I'm not jinxing it. I'm not going to say Dodgers are about to sweep the Jays whatsoever, but I would be shocked if the Dodgers did not win this World Series.
I like the confidence. I have confidence in that they will win it, but I think what Ian was saying, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher battle than the Brewers series. I don't see it being a sweep. Forbid me for saying this, but it's probably going to go 6 or 7 games and head back to Toronto. And we're going to have I think you're going to have a similar series as to how it was against the Mets last season. The 2 games Toronto's going to win, they're going to be blowout games. They're going to be games that Dave Roberts ends up punting away, and they're going to be like 10-2 ball games from Toronto. I don't think it's going to be these close games that they had with the Brewers or Phillies, but I think the games that the Dodgers win, it's going to be smooth sailing. But I don't think they're going to win it in 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think Toronto they have, I think, the most relentless offense the Dodgers will face. I think Philadelphia has the bigger home run guys. I think Seattle, if the Dodgers would have faced them, that's more of a home run hitting team. That's the way that they score their runs and win. Toronto they led the MLB in batting average. They get on base. I think they've put up like 70 runs in the postseason this year. And of course, you're going to face the Dodgers pitching. You're not going to have that level of success, but it's also not going to be a thing where you just shut them down the way the Dodgers shut down Milwaukee, putting up 1 run per game.
I agree. I mean, the statistic itself is in the last 30 games, the rotation of Shohei, Glasnow, Yamamoto, and Snell have a 15-1 record, a 1.49 ERA, and have had 214 strikeouts. That's in the past 30 games. So it's hard not to root against this group. And especially, we had Snell probably pitching we thought was probably the best playoff performance we've ever seen in game 1, going 8 innings and only was it 1 run, or it was 1 hit, I know, and then Yamamoto comes in game 2 with the full close game. So they just keep hiring the expectations each week. Do you guys think that this starting rotation is going to have the same success they've had in the past? Who do you see that might, struggle a little bit now against the Jays?
I think it's Tyler Glasnow. I don't think it's anything against Tyler Glasnow either. I just think he's not built to go deep into these ball games with his injury history, and I think they're going to get to him. I think he's a pitcher on this rotation that gets a little bit rattled easier than our other guys. And Toronto, like Ian was saying, they're putting up a pretty historic offensive postseason right now, and I think they're going to get to him pretty early, and they're going to be aggressive. If there was any pitcher to falter in the World Series, and I hope I'm wrong, I think it would be Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, I think Glasnow too has had the benefit the last 2 games of pitching in those weird Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m. games where you get the shadows in LA. Yeah. Huge advantage to the pitcher. You're not going to get that in the World Series. So obviously the road will be tougher for him. He's gotten kind of that advantage. I can tell you who it won't be. It's not going to be Blake Snell. The way he looks right now, I know Toronto. I think the Dodgers are the best hitting team against left-handers. I think being the only lefty in their rotation to start game one. Again, he starts game one. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like it definitely won't be him. That's the one guy I can say for certain. I'm not worried about whatsoever.
No, for sure. And we've seen this past couple of series with the Brewers and the Phillies that we haven't even had home advantage. So with the Blue Jays winning, we're not going to have home advantage either. But we've won both two first games, and that's because of the Snell Yamamoto 1-2 punch. I don't see Snell losing a game. That's how confident I am. I mean, I know he was like courtside at the Lakers game yesterday. He's bringing it like he is the spotlight right now. So I see us winning game one, and then we can go from there. Let's just start off the bat. Game one on Friday. How do you guys feel?
Blake Snell's on the mound. I don't know how you can't feel confident going into that. I think it's going to be one of those things, again, where because of how horrid the Dodgers bullpen's been towards the end of the season, they're not going to go off analytics. They're going to just feel the momentum of the game, and if Blake Snell's dealing, they're going to keep him in that ball game until he cannot throw another pitch. And hopefully it's another 8-inning game, but we'll see. I feel like they will game one. I like to say it's a lock, and also on top of that, the Dodgers, it's important for them to win this game. They've won game one of every single series since the NLDS collapse that happened in 2023, and keep that trend going, and we win another World Series.
Yeah, I feel confident about him. Granted, you never know. I mean, obviously, Seattle, it looked like, would be at a disadvantage when they went into Toronto at the beginning of the series, coming off that long 15-inning game and having to go, push it to the brink of elimination in the ALDS. I think that the Dodgers are going to take advantage of the full rest. They've been here many times. I think when a team like that gets rest, when a team like that gets an opportunity to get their get back, you saw what happened with Shohei Ohtani. On a travel day, he's at Dodger Stadium, he's hitting, he's getting back in the rhythm of things. I expect them to attack. I don't expect rest. I expect it to just be the rest that helps them. No rest to shake off. They're hot. They're on fire right now.
Love it. No, it was almost like hysterical watching the different reactions and celebrations to the Dodgers winning the pennant and the Blue Jays winning the pennant. I mean, the Dodgers, everyone's just, like, Shohei just had, the game of his life, the best performance we probably will ever see in sports, and he's just dapping up everyone, like nodding, being the nonchalant guy he is. And then the Blue Jays obviously are going crazy. Like, I mean, as they should. It's the World Series, but the Dodgers just have the experience. I mean, we won it all last year. We won 13 out of the 14 last national conference. Like, this is almost it's a winner, like, World Series or bust type of year every year when you have this type of roster. Let's call our shots. We haven't really had one or player take over this postseason. Obviously, Shohei had the game and ended up winning MVP, but obviously before that, he wasn't having a good series. And I mean, you say maybe Kike's been the best batter. Mookie has had his go for it. Who do you guys see, being the breakout candidate of this series?
I mean, I the one guy that, to me, especially against this Toronto team, I'm waiting to just watch him completely attack, completely take over games, is Max Muncy. I think, he's a guy that's hit 40 home runs in his career. That's a guy who draws walks at an elite rate. They've benched him against lefties, and against Philadelphia, it was a lot of lefties. Against Milwaukee, you got the Aaron Ashby, you got some guys you could throw in that are lefties. Toronto is almost exclusively right-handed. Starters, all right-handed. With the exception, I think Eric Lauer and Little, it's almost exclusively right-handers. It's going to be a lot of at-bats for Muncy. With Freeman, Ohtani, Teoscar, Smith, Mookie hitting ahead of him hitting the 5 or 6 hole. He's going to get an opportunity to see the best pitches. We know how great of a power hitter he is. I think Max Muncy is my dark horse pick for World Series MVP. And he's got the glasses, so he can see now.
There you go. Ethan, all you want me to go?
I'll take it from here. I love the Muncy pick. That was my dark horse pick too. It's what you said about these right-handers, dude. And I think because of that, Shohei Ohtani might just carry it on from here. It's obviously not a dark horse pick, but in game 4, you have all that momentum going into the World Series, and against a right-handed heavy rotation that the Blue Jays have. Also, he's going to pitch game 4 of the World Series, most likely. You have that, a little bit of offensive power, and a great pitching performance in game 4. I think Ohtani would end up winning the MVP if the Dodgers go on to go back-to-back. But another hitter I think is due and is going to have an unbelievable series is Mookie Betts.
Love it. I mean, I don't think we would be complaining, if it's Shohei or Mookie. To kind of piggyback off the righty pitching from Toronto, I got to go with Freddie Freeman. I think, going off of last year, he had a home run in the first 4 games of the World Series. He shines when the lights are the brightest, and this would be a legacy game for a legacy series, really, for Freddie Freeman to, get crowned with another World Series MVP. But, whoever it is, I think I'm expecting someone to kind of stand out from the rest because kind of like I mentioned, I mean, unless it's the starting pitching who, keeps doing their thing, and because we haven't really even had to have, too much bats come into play. I think we let up 4 runs all last series against the Brewers. So when you have such a dominant sweep like that, no one really, we weren't, held to any too big of moments behind the plate. But whoever it is, I'm so excited to see it. Let's talk a little bit about this, the Dodgers dynasty, the Dodgers breaking the MLB, the Dodgers, should maybe have a salary cap. I'll give my opinion first, and I think it's horseshit, honestly. I think the problem with the MLB is not the Dodgers paying too much. It's the bottom leagues, it's the small markets not paying their players enough. The Dodgers just happen to be making all the money through ticket scales, through merchandise, through these marketing campaigns, and then they're putting all the money back into the players. There's other teams like, the Yankees, the Mets, like the Padres, these teams have the same amount of money. They just don't have, I don't know if it's the chemistry, they don't have the experience. Like the Dodgers just have the best roster to do it. So for everyone to just hate on the Dodgers for the salary cap, I just think it's a lazy take. And I'm honestly I love how Dave Roberts is kind of just running with it. We're going to ruin baseball, 4 more wins. Let's be the villains. Why not? I mean, it's funny enough that people are rooting for a different country to win the World Series versus the Dodgers winning another ring.
Yeah, I think you said it best. It's a lazy take. You go and actually dissect what the Dodgers have built. This isn't just something they did in 2024 and go and went inside a bunch of guys. It started with new ownership. They've been making strategic decisions 10 years ago that have been building up to this. They've been doing things that allowed them to go and get Shohei Ohtani. They built a winning culture out in Los Angeles that made players want to go and sign. The San Francisco Giants offered Ohtani the exact same contract they did, with deferred revenue and everything. Ohtani chose the Dodgers because it's the Dodgers. They've been building this winning culture that no other team can provide. And because you get Ohtani, it allowed them to get Yamamoto. It allowed them to get Sasaki. Yamamoto had a higher contract offer from the Phillies. Sasaki, every single team could have offered him the same amount of money. So that hadn't, them getting Sasaki had absolutely nothing to do with the salary cap. It just happened to do with they were able to build a winning environment that attracted a Japanese phenom like him. And you look at their lineup too right now. Tommy Edman, Max Muncy, Kike Hernandez, Andy Pages, Will Smith. These are all guys combined. They drafted and developed or took from another team and retooled them, found the missing piece to these guys and unlocked their full potential. You got to just hand it to this coaching staff and what they've been able to do in their player development, their scouting. It's not just opening up the checkbook and throwing $30 million at a player. That's really not what they've done. And you look at all with Mookie Betts, they were able to get Mookie Betts because they had the best farm system in baseball and had prospects they could ship off.
This salary cap thing, for one, if we're most likely a Zach Wheeler blood clot or Orion Kerkering throwing the ball the first away from not even having this conversation. Or, if we want to go back to last year, we're one Padre in game 5 hitting in scoring position and not, going hitless and scoreless for 24 straight innings away from not having this conversation. I can't tell you how many times as a Dodgers fan I've watched this team go into October before recently, and the luck was the other way around. The other team, whoever they were playing, benefited or cheated to get a World Series. So there's that. I think people are just seeing the results of what's going on. The Dodgers put themselves in that position, and yeah, they catch a break or two. We wouldn't be having this conversation otherwise. But more importantly, where does the salary cap thing stop? Because if this is in the interest of parity in the sport, the Dodgers just make more revenue than other teams, and that's how it is. Like LA big market teams, New York teams, Chicago teams, they just make more money. They just make more revenue. TV deals, ticket price, merchandise, history, it happens. You can put a salary cap in the MLB. The Dodgers are still going to have more money. And if you're going to cap them on how much they can spend on their roster, they're going to go invest more and more money into research and development, into facilities, into training, into minor leagues. And then what's next when the Dodgers have success because they develop people better and they spend their money on that? Or are you going to put a cap on how much teams can invest into their team and into their farm system and into research? Like, where does it stop? Where does it stop? And the funny thing about it all is a potential lockout, owners don't want to do this. The owners want to cap because they want to cap how much they can pay certain players. And that's why the players union will not agree to a salary cap, because the players don't want to get rid of their own revenue, like in the NBA where LeBron can only get paid $58 million a year. The owners don't care about parity. The owners like the Dodgers being a dynasty. They know that it generates more revenue when the Pirates have the Dodgers come to town. It's only the fans that are screaming online for a salary cap, but it's just a slippery slope. It's going to lead to nothing.
Definitely. I mean, for the MLB too itself, I mean, if you had two small markets competing in a World Series right now, nobody would care. The leagues are the best when there are the dynasties, when it's, the Cavs, Warriors, the Lakers, like the Yankees, the Dodgers, like the big name markets, just like you said, are at the top of the game. So I think it's just fans being lazy and honestly just being jealous of, like, I get it. I mean, there's fans that have been rooting, like the Mariners have never, won a World Series. I get it. We are a spoiled franchise being, Dodgers being in five World Series in the past decade. Like, I get it, but that just goes to show exactly the farm system and the chemistry this team has been able to build is just feels a lot different as you see them, winning a pennant and dapping each other up. Like it's uncommon, but at the same time, I think it's just a lazy excuse to be had. So that needs to be stopped. But at the same time, you don't what pissed me off last series was that the Brewers were, 6-0 in the regular season against the Dodgers. I know we were a little bit unhealthy, but no one said anything about it at the start of the series. We end up sweeping them, and then that's when you hear it all. So, when there's controversy, I think that just to me that just means you're doing something right.
I think it's just because it's the Dodgers. I mean, the World Series 2 years ago was the Diamondbacks and Rangers, and let's not forget, the Rangers spent $500 million throwing out contracts in 2021 to Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. Why weren't people talking about that in that World Series? Like, if you're gonna hate on the Dodgers for this, at least be complaining about other teams doing the same thing. And also, they threw a huge contract at Jacob deGrom the offseason prior.
The other point you bring up about the Rangers bringing out Corey Seager, if we're going to talk salary cap or talk fairness or equity, you guys know, we all know why Corey Seager chose to go to the Rangers, right? I mean, it's because Texas has no state income tax, and LA is a tax-heavy market. Like, you get taxed heavily. Dean and I live here. We know it's not a cheap place to live. So what about that? So do you want to create a cap and make it now unfair for the Dodgers, where they're going to lose out to teams like the Rangers that can just offer, the same contract, but it'll be more money net to the player? Like, I mean, let's not act like the Dodgers haven't gotten the raw end of the deal too before in free agent negotiations, namely with Corey Seager, a franchise guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that goes to show too, nothing the Dodgers are doing is illegal. Like, the deferring money isn't something that's illegal. No one's going over the laws whatsoever. It's just when you win, that's, I guess, when it feels like maybe there is an issue. But again, they're going to keep winning. Dave Roberts literally, I was pretty shocked when he said, let's keep Ruin baseball, because Now I guess that's just a storyline. That's just a talking point. So, when you have a juggernaut team like the Dodgers, people are going to get angry. But let's keep moving on. I think another thing I want to touch on is George Springer. Obviously, 2017 Astros, a cheating scandal. We have some revenge that can be paid against George Springer. I know he just hit that big home run. What was it, 2 nights ago? But do you think does this give any Dodgers a little bit more reason to want to win? I mean, I know it was probably just Kershaw and maybe Kike that were on the team. So of course it's a whole new roster, but I think this Dodgers identity, like everyone knows that we got cheated against the Astros. So do you think George Springer being on this team, does that give the Dodgers a little more extra push to want to win it?
Maybe in some case. Again, it was 8 years ago. I know it when he walks onto Dodger Stadium and leads off a game, it's not going to be fun for him. He's going to get heckled pretty badly. Stadium pulse is going to be through the roof, but I'm never going to forgive the Astros for what happened. Like, I'm still traumatized by George Springer's 5 homers he hit in that World Series. So watching it again, it's not going to be very fun watching him in the World Series, but I don't think they're really focused on that. I think it's a new squad. I mean, some of these guys were also playing in Japan when this happened. Like, it's a new era. I don't think they're really thinking too much about it.
Yeah, it's much more of a narrative for the fans. I think Dodger fans won't forget. And you'll see that games 3 through 5, if there is a game 5. It's not going to be a warm reception for George Springer. I even made a TikTok about it. So it's definitely a thing for the fans. I don't really think it impacts the team. I think likable Seattle, detestable Houston, this team's they're gonna come out and do what they're gonna do and take care of business. Like they're just a machine. I don't really think who they're playing on the other side will have an impact outside of, the fan base.
Fair enough. I think another question I've been thinking, we know like last year it was Buehler who came in the 9th to close the game to win the World Series. Who do you guys want to see this year be that guy? I mean, I guess it's a tough loaded question because obviously it depends on who started that day, who pitched the day before. But if it came down to it, let's say bottom of the 9th, we're up 1 run. Who do you want to see pitching to close out the game? Because we have obviously an Avengers team of pitchers. I mean, an ace on pretty much any given team. We got 4 of them. Who do you guys want to see be the person to close out a game?
If it's a close game, I want best guy available. If we're in a game 7 or something and it's a 1-run game and it's do or die, if Blake Snell is available and able to pitch and it makes sense for the matchups, I want him in, or I want Yamamoto in, Sasaki, like whatever the best matchup at that moment is.
Yeah, you can't choose wrong. I guess that's the point.
But I will say, as a fan, as a Dodgers fan, as a lifelong Dodgers fan, if they're up like 8-1 in like a game 5 or 6,
yep,
we all want to see Kershaw throw his arms up, get the last out. I mean, I'm like, who wouldn't? That's enough to make a grown man cry. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think if we've got like a big enough lead where you feel safe, I want Kershaw getting the last out. I want him getting his last out, riding off into the sunset. All those years he had to carry the Dodgers starting rotation, that would be poetic.
Right, and we can't see him go out on the way he did last game. I mean, if he wins another ring, like it really doesn't matter his last pitching outing. But man, that was pretty sad, and for that to be what our last loss as well. So I would love to see him go out one more time. I honestly just don't see it happening, but I don't want to see him in another moment where he has the opportunity to like win the game and he sells it, and that would break my heart. So we'll see what David Roberts thinks, because at the same time, like kind of like we mentioned, I mean, the starting rotation has been so good. We haven't had to worry too much about the rotation. I mean, Roki Sasaki, we haven't talked about him much yet, but I mean, he's been absolutely lights out. I think he's had maybe one iffy outing, but other than that, he's been a killer. So super confident with Roki. Trinan low-key got his lick back. What game was that? That was, I think, game 1 against the Phillies, let's say.
The final strikeout in the NLCS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen either way. We haven't seen too many times or outings this past couple of series where our bullpen was the one that ruined the game for us. And that being said, of course, our starting rotation has been dominant. But who do you guys like? How do you guys feel with the rotation right now? Who do you not feel confident about? Who do you feel confident, being in a World Series game?
I got confident in all four guys they got. All my worries that I feel about the World Series coming up, there's really not many, it all lies on the offense staying hot. And the only worry I have in the bullpen is maybe Alex Vesia coming out is a little bit shaky the first couple pitches. I really think that's the only thing that's been with him and Treinen. Other than that, these starters have been able to go so deep into games where they've just been able to put in Vesia or Treinen for a high leverage out, and then Sasaki coming in for the ninth.
Yeah, they
So
got a good formula.
Just stick with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, sure. I know that's what almost scares me though, because it's been so good. So it's almost like something is bound to happen, but I'm not going to put any bad juju in the air. While we cap it off, do we want to just do like final predictions? Like, I know we already did MVP, but like, how long is the series going to go, and breakout candidate and whatsoever, because it's going to be hopefully not a stressful couple weeks, but I saw that if we get to a game 6, that's actually going to be on Halloween Day. So I'm hoping we close it off before then. My guess, final prediction, Dodgers in 5. It's going to be a full circle moment from the Shannon Sharp Lakers in 5. We're going to switch it over, Dodgers in 5, and I got Freddie Freeman being the MVP, having another big World Series performance and stamping his name in as a legacy series.
I got the Dodgers in 6. I'm going to go with Ohtani as the MVP, specifically because if he pitches a game 4, which I think he's going to pitch lights out in, and then pretty good offensive numbers, there's no way you can't give him the MVP. But I want to keep my take on there too. I think Mookie Betts is going to be one of the hottest bats in the Dodgers lineup this World Series.
Synchronicity has been the key of the Dodgers' last 2 postseason runs. You've got what I determined to be the World Series coming early in the NLDS both years. One year you have the pitching unit out of the bullpen that carries them. This year you've got the pitching unit as the starting rotation that's carrying them. Similarly, I also think the Dodgers close it out in 6. We're not going to get to see him celebrate on the home field. I think Toronto's just a little too good for that. I do think, unfortunately, like you guys have talked about, the bullpen's been good enough to hold up, and I think Toronto's bound to take advantage at some point in a game. I also think maybe a Kevin Gausman start gets him somewhere. But I fully imagine myself on Halloween night dressed up in the Patrick Bateman costume, celebrating the Dodgers World Series down on the Hermosa Pier.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be a time. All right, let's get hyped, boys. Everyone, make sure to follow them as well. We'll be doing like live reactions and everything game day. So you gotta love Dodgers content. It's a great time of the year right now. The Dodgers are the new dynasty. We're about to go back to back, and if that doesn't happen, I will probably be clipping this. But whatever. Dodgers fans, get hype. First game is on Friday, and we all kind of said Blake Snell on the mound. It's a lock, even if we're away. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for hopping on. I would love to keep running some podcasts down the future, and let's go Dodgers.
Yep. Thanks, Dane.
Thank you.